Sunday night?
I think what it was is we saw a version of the team we expected and that we talked about for so many months, right? A quarterback that was moving the ball up and down. At least this was from the second quarter on. A quarterback moving the ball up and down the field. A defense led by a defensive line that is just making life hell on an elite quarterback. And we saw that week 1 against Josh Allen too. Defensive line making it hell for an elite quarterback who throws multiple interceptions. And Mahomes really should have thrown 3 interceptions last night, just like Josh Allen.
Mosley dropped another one.
4 interceptions, just like Josh Allen threw 3 in that game. And for some reason, this defense, they could do this to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but not Mac Jones, who's about to be benched. So it's one of those things. But I agree, because we all went into this game with such limited expectations, and it's 17-0, and you're like, well, here we go. Like, they're going to lose 34-7, and this team has really quit. And just for like 2 hours, you got a look at Breece Hall ripping off a ridiculous run. Garrett Wilson getting targeted every other play. Alan Lazard making tough catches. Jeremy Ruckert pulling in a back shoulder on a perfect throw from Zach Wilson. And it's going to be great to watch the film room you guys do later this week. And I think with the offense, let's talk Hackett and then let's talk Wilson, because we'll spend more time talking Wilson because he's the bigger story. I think finally, our guy Martini Nate making us look really bad for giving him the nickname, getting the shirts out there, is like public enemy number 1 besides Saleh after 3 games. Calls a really good game and finally seems to get into a rhythm of doing things that could help Zach Wilson, getting him outside the pocket, simplifying some of his reads, letting him get into rhythm. The personnel usage isn't perfect, but it's headed in the right direction. We got Gibson on offense. We got more Ruckert. The offensive line, mostly due to injury, is kind of snapped into shape. The overall game plan, it just was better. It looked better. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like the offense we kind of expected. Of course, Zach Wilson's never going to be Aaron Rodgers, and Zach Wilson was good last night. He wasn't like, didn't light the world on fire and throw for 450 yards, but he was good. And if he plays like that, the Jets are a 500 team with the rest of the talent on their roster. So if they could complement him from an offensive staff perspective with that type of play calling and that type of personnel usage, Wilson at least has a fighting chance. There's still going to be mistakes. There's still going to be weeks that are a letdown, but his talent came through last night in this game plan. What was like the big picture strategy from the Jets, or what switch flipped really after the first quarter? Because it was the tale of 2 teams really once that first quarter ended.
Yeah, it feels like their success in 12 and 13 personnel, and even with 2 backs on the field and 21 personnel, which none of those were their majority group. They're obviously live in 11 like every team in the NFL does, but their success in those formations was significantly noticeable, especially working off of play action. I mean, they trotted out 13 personnel 8 times in this game, and they went play action off of that 5 times. And the reason I'm getting into this, not to get too deep in the weeds here, is that they trotted out something that looks like one thing, and they utilized it to do something else, right? They had 3 tight ends on the field, and the Chiefs are sitting there, and they're like, okay, they're putting 3 tight ends on the field. They don't trust this kid to throw the ball. Here comes the run. Our corners are sitting off. Nobody's really taking the pass game seriously. And then they ran play action 5 of the 8 times, and they were able to thrive off of play action. Also, mechanically, Zach Wilson looked really comfortable off of play action under center last night. I mean, if you just showed like somebody that's never watched a day of NFL football in their life, and you showed them every quarterback, and you showed them Zach's mechanics from Sunday night, they'd be like, yes, I think that is how you throw the ball at the NFL level, which is jarring to say because so many of Zach's problems have been mechanical-related issues. But a lot of that is more so thinking and not seeing compared to not being able to do. And in this game, he was able to do. So I thought it was really effective that they got their tight ends involved in this game. I mean, we really beat this one, but when you get Ruckert on the field, good things happen. And I'm not saying Jeremy Ruckert's the elixir to the offense, but you see his ability to help as a blocker. You see he's not a zero as a pass catcher. Uzomah makes a big play in the end zone. Conklin, it stinks he dropped that touchdown because he had a couple big plays in this game. Conklin had nice plays in this game, and the 2 things that we probably remember are the drop touchdown in the end zone and not being able to block that last guy for Breece Hall that probably would have won the game. So It's a shame that has to be like that. Yeah. But they have 3 effective tight ends, and they're finally playing the most effective one, ironically. So is the little thing.